Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, and I'm joined by co-host Jeff.
What up, man? We're cruising through our own
do?
McConniasance. McConniasance.
McConniasance with bacon and cheese, please.
Oh, man, you're making this salt-deprived man quite hungry.
Before we get into what we watched this week, we're going to plug some music. And here on the podcast, we are grateful for the alternative rock band from Los Angeles, Here's to Now, with their song Thieves. Jeff, did you get a chance to listen to the music this month?
Just going to bounce that right back to you.
So that's a no.
It hasn't come out yet, and I haven't sat down to listen to it.
It has
Listen,
come out. It has come out. What are you talking about?
No, the episode that came out this week
was The Gentleman, our first week of McConniasance.
It did come out this week. I haven't listened yet.
Damn it. Thanks for boosting the numbers, Jeff.
Well, it downloaded it.
Okay, thank you. So then, sincere thank you for boosting.
Yeah, boosting our own numbers. That doesn't count.
Anyways, no, we give a big shout out to Here's to Now for allowing us to use their music here on the podcast. Be sure you hit the show notes. Get all the links to their social media. They're doing big things, and we appreciate them. Make sure you go to the website. They're like touring all over the place. A bunch of small venues, so I love it when...
Those are the best concerts.
Yeah, they
are.
Like,
I've been to big stadium concerts, but my favorite are when the band works their own booth, because then you can go and talk to them.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, I don't know. I prefer that.
You're buying shirts from the dudes that made the shirts that also just
exactly.
played the fucking music.
Yeah, exactly. I prefer those small venue concerts. They're awesome.
Yeah. And be honest, in the town we live in, we have a really good venue that brings in, lesser known artists that are touring and those are the type of acts that they work really fucking hard. They're on the road all the damn time. They are playing a show a night, it seems like, every week. And then occasionally they'll make it big, and that's cool. And but I do enjoy that. Appreciate Here's to Now. Make sure you can catch their music wherever you get your music from. Anyways,
there you go.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
What did we watch this week?
So we again are in the month of McConaughey. And for week 3, I got to pick. So I picked a film from 2001, as I am wont to do. I prefer films that have a little grain on them.
That's true.
And I picked Frailty from 2001. It runs for 1:40. It's directed by Bill Paxton and starring Bill Paxton, as well as Matthew McConaughey and my man, Powers Boothe.
Yeah. So I don't know what I think of this movie. And
I don't know what you think of it either.
I've sat with it for a day, and I still don't know if I like it.
Well, let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. So let's start with, I guess, Powers Boothe. Have you seen Powers Boothe before? Did he seem familiar to you?
Yeah, he's in tons of shit. A lot of Western shit.
A lot of Westerns? I know he's from, Tombstone. He was also in Sudden Death, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, I do remember that. I don't know. I see his face a lot of times. And I'm assuming that he's been in Westerns before.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least you're being honest. I love Powers Boothe, and he's awesome in this. He
was in Deadwood, a Western.
Okay.
He was in the entire, I think it ran for 2 seasons. Deadwood, he was in, that's it. Con Air. I remember him from Con Air.
Oh, he's in Con Air. Excellent. We'll have to watch that again. Or once. I haven't seen it in years. So,
anyways, yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
He's awesome. He's Powers Boothe, man. Fuck. Shit. All right.
I just don't. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So our story. So you hadn't seen this before.
Does this movie star Matthew McConaughey?
Yes, it did. He was in the film.
He was in the film. That's true.
I would say he was in the film enough to qualify as meeting the theme.
Okay, that's fair.
He was a key part to the plot and the story, and he did a lot of narration, and he kind of bookended. So the movie takes place between two time frames. The current day, where McConaughey is speaking to my man Powers Boothe at the police station about how his brother is this known serial killer. And, and then he tells the story of his youth. And so you cut back and you see him being raised with his brother and their dad, Bill Paxton. Now, Bill Paxton gets a vision, a dream, if you will, and he says, boys, wake up. I've got great news. And he doesn't talk about his car insurance, but he tells the boys, I've got a sign from God. We're going to get to kill some demons.
Listen, if your dad had came to you at that age and been like, Jeff, wake up.
Yeah, first off, we'd be like, bitch, I'm sleeping.
We got demons to kill. What would your reaction be?
I'd be like, I'm going to call mom. That's what it would be. I grew up in my parents were divorced when I was young, so if my dad wanted me to kill demons, I would just call my mom. Come get me. This motherfucker's crazy. Now,
Dad's gone crazy.
Now, if I didn't have that option, and my dad
much like the characters here in this film,
our characters don't have that option. Their mother is gone. Natural causes, nothing fishy. And one of the two boys, there's two boys, one played by Jeremy Sumpter, who plays Adam, and then another character who plays Fenton is the older boy. And Fenton is Matthew McConaughey's name at the beginning of the movie. That might clue you in to where this is going. Spoilers. But so this is a movie where I knew there had to be a twist, right? I'm watching, I'm like, there's something else happening here. This is not straightforward.
So what threw me off for most of the movie, and it didn't really settle. Okay. It didn't really settle in. Yeah, I am. It didn't settle in for me at the end of the movie, where we learned the twist, because we see Matthew McConaughey's brother in the beginning of the film shoot him or put a gun to his head, and then we hear.
So the movie deliberately tricks you, right?
Yes.
Which I'm never really a fan of. And I get that what they're doing there is that's what Matthew McConaughey is telling Powers Boothe.
Right.
Right. And so that kind of, I guess I'm okay with, whatever, but I don't particularly like being lied to. So in the movies where there are twists, right? Shyamalan,
you want the twist to be earned, right?
Not only earned, but I want it to be able to be figured out, right? So if you go back to Sixth Sense, right? You go back to Sixth Sense, and at no point does he lie to you in that movie saying that Bruce Willis is alive, right? There's no point.
Right.
You assume he is because of what movies have told you for years and years and years, but you're wrong, and all the groundwork is there. And when you get to go back through it, you get to see all the clues and hints. So for the twist in this film, they lie to you at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, so when the twist comes, you're more confused.
Yes.
Right? Because then you go back, you're like, what?
Right.
And
it's not until the really final shot where everything kind of just falls into place, which is a feat in itself to have a movie fall into all the holes perfectly like it does. But in the beginning of the movie, Powers Boothe, Matthew McConaughey's character, who we believe is Fenton, is talking to Powers Boothe, and Powers Boothe is like, hey, I got to go make a phone call. And he goes and he calls the McConaughey's local sheriff's office, and the dispatcher, front desk lady, whoever she is, answers, and she's like, oh, and you have Fenton, and she's like, oh, he stole an ambulance and he took his brother's body, and that's all we hear of.
Did she say? She did say that. Okay, because okay, yeah, that still makes sense.
And so, like, when Powers Boothe and McConaughey go to like the location of the God's Hand killer's bodies, I'm like, wait a minute. The lady told Powers Boothe that there's a body in that ambulance. Where are they going?
He never
what
checked
the fuck are they doing?
So, all right. So, like I said, I knew there was a twist. Now, I was like, there's two possible twists here. That Matthew McConaughey, either being Adam or Fenton, I don't know, has taken up the mantle of demon killer and is here to get Powers Boothe. He's on the list, right?
Right.
Or Powers Boothe is the serial killer.
Yes, I thought that as well.
I was like, because that would be cool. Like, because they both end up in this, like, the Rose Garden, which is where all these victims have been buried and killed. And they go there, and I'm like, okay, Powers Boothe could be the serial killer. And I kind of like that because I like Powers Boothe. And that's not what happens, but what does happen is the double twist. You get the twist that actually McConaughey is Adam. He's the younger son who's always been on board with killing demons. And Powers Boothe had murdered his own mother and was on the list. So
was on the list.
I got one of the two possibilities.
So, as I'm watching the movie, and the movie's brisk, it's an hour 40, and honestly, I did not enjoy the acting across the board here. Although young Fenton, Matt O'Leary, I thought he was fantastic. I just like in the movie, he's got to be 14, 15 years old, and or the actor is 14, 15 years old, and just his range of like non-verbal emotional reactions to certain things. Like there's times where he's like, the camera looks at it like Bill Paxton, his dad, is talking, and I don't know if this was deliberate or if this is just how Bill Paxton acts, and I think it's more Bill Paxton acting. It's just very campy type dialogue.
Yeah. I think part of the problem is a lot of his. So there are moments where I'm like, I kind of like what he's doing when he's just being dad.
Yeah.
I think he does a good job, right? Where he's like, all right, boy, and he's
How was school today? And how you gonna do that math?
Kind of works.
Yeah,
tucking his boys in. The problem is anytime someone's like, I got a word from God, and we're killing demons, and we got to go find the secret mystery weapons, that shit's just gonna sound bad. So I don't know how much of that is actually Bill Paxton, or you're just gonna cringe when you hear someone say they're a demon hunter.
Yeah, I think it was more his delivery and like how every line kind of just seemed to be this prophetic bit of dialogue, I guess.
Yeah.
And and ultimately it's fine is because Bill Paxton is a likable face, I guess.
I like Bill Paxton in general, of course, also from Tombstone.
Right.
I just now put that together that both he and Powers Boothe were both in Tombstone. But I agree that his performance isn't great here. I do like some of it.
Yeah, I do too. But I also think that, like, when you're the director, I'm putting director in quotes.
I don't know why he literally directed the film, but okay.
No, man. When someone else is behind the camera, I don't know how much you can call yourself the director.
You're not the cameraman. Alfred Hitchcock notably never looked through a lens.
Well, that's probably why half his films are shit. But I just don't think Bill Paxton. Like I enjoyed. I'm still trying to talk my way into this movie. I enjoyed the story of these kids having this serial killer dad, and this oldest sibling having to kind of like take the brunt of everything.
Right, because so the younger boy buys in fully. He's like, sweet, we're like superheroes, right, Dad? And he's like, yeah, son, kick-ass superheroes. And we got a pipe, and we got some gloves.
We got an axe named Otis.
You got an axe named Otis and a hole in the backyard. We have everything we need. And Finn's like, Dad, you're murdering people. And you're like, yeah. And so what's interesting about the film is Fenton is right throughout the bulk of the film, right? You can't do this. You can't go and be even a vigilante. Even if these people are bad, you can't go and be a vigilante.
Oh, and Bill Paxton tells him, he's like, I'm not killing people, I'm killing demons.
Right. I've never killed anyone before in my life, which is another line we hear again later.
Yeah, and
I just killed demons.
And every time the like Bill Paxton is having a conversation with Matt O'Leary as young Fenton, you kind of the camera goes to Fenton's face, and he's kind of like giving him like the what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Look,
yeah,
and I enjoyed that is because I feel like that's a genuine reaction to somebody talking crazy into your face.
Yeah, he is all of us, right? He is performing as the audience. He's like, this dude is crazy. And we're all like, yeah, that dude is crazy.
But we also, it's very relatable, is because that as a young teenager, what do you do in that situation? He tried to run away once, and that didn't work out. And he tried to tell somebody.
He tried to tell the cops, and that went horribly wrong.
And so, I feel like it's a very relatable performance because if you think about. If you had a dad like Bill Paxton, who was, very much about you and your brother or whoever, and then all of a sudden he starts talking crazy shit, and you're like holding on to the seat. You're like, what the fuck is happening?
They even established before it goes crazy that he's a good dad.
Right? And that's so the whole thing is like, it's very relatable in my point of view. And I really feel like how Bill Paxton, the director, was trying to make it seem is that he wanted the audience to be conflicted towards this family dynamic of how do we sympathize with Bill Paxton while also making him the villain. And we did it through the eyes of his two sons.
I think it's through the younger son, right? Because the younger son is still innocent, right? He believes it because even the oldest son is like, think about Santa Claus,
Right.
He lied about that, It's the same thing. And I think so we see through this younger kid, Adam, that he loves his dad, he believes him, but he also loves his brother.
Yeah.
And he just wants his brother to kind of get on board with this. And they even talk about how, like, one of the things is Bill Paxton, if he touches a demon, he can see their sins. And
which was that. So that is interesting. It was a perspective, and in the end of the film kind of brought that together too. It's because when you're watching it before the end, and every time Bill Paxton takes his gloves off and he touches the person that he's getting ready to kill, like we see him have a reaction, and then we see the person that he's touching have a reaction, and we see Adam and Fenton, and Fenton's always like, "What the fuck?" And then Adam's like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." And then at the end of the film, that all makes sense. Is because I was wondering throughout the film, I was like, "Wait a minute." I was like, is this legitimate now?
So that's the other twist, right? That's the one I didn't see coming. So
it was all in the perspective of Adam.
Well, there was that, but also I didn't think it was real, right? Like in this world, they give you enough information to be like, oh shit, this is real. Bill Paxton is out here killing demons. He's right. And it turns out that Fenton is a demon, and his dad just didn't want to accept it, but his brother knew, and he's just had to wait for him to be on the list. And this is where you said they say, he killed himself at the beginning of the film, but actually he was killed by his brother and then buried in the Rose Park, whatever. And then you get to see all the visions that we didn't get to see initially. And then you get to see the vision of him touching Powers Boothe and that ending. So that kind of tripped me out a little bit because, we've been talking and we're watching the movie. We're like, Fenton's right. His dad's crazy. You can't kill people. His dad is nuts. But also, he gets these names out of thin air.
Right.
And they're all real people.
Right.
And they're all where they should be. And things just kind of work out for them, right? They're murdering demons. Doesn't ever really go awry. It works out until Fenton does what he does.
Yeah, I didn't get on board with the supernatural aspect of this. And maybe that's the reason why I'm kind of going back and forth with
I don't think the movie wanted you to I think they wanted us to believe he's outside of his mind.
Yeah,
and
no, for sure.
I try to drop the double twist,
but then at the end of the movie, McConaughey and the chick from the sheriff's station, he says, or so what did he say? God bless, or God has blessed us, and she's like, yes, praise be, or something. And so then I'm sitting there going, okay, all right, what was this all fucking legitimate? Did all of these visions and shit that Bill Paxton was having, did that actually happen?
I think the world lets you know that it is. Right? Yeah. I think that the movie is like, this really happened. And I mean, you could still second guess it, but certainly Matthew McConaughey's wife is on board. They even, so this FBI agent comes at that final scene and he comes in and he's I'm looking for Fenton. Where's Fenton? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And then he shakes the FBI agent's hand and he goes, you're a good man. And so that guy's not a demon. So in my mind, from what the film is telling me, all this demon shit is real. And Bill Paxton was a good dude bumping off demons, which is crazy. The whole time now I'm like, oh, wait, I should have been on Bill Paxton's side. And Fenton's a demon who becomes a serial killer? What?
Right.
It's a wild twist.
It is, and that's why. So I'm struggling to bring myself to admit that this was probably a good movie. Is because I'm still not completely on board with the double twist and feeling that it was earned, because there's a lot of exposition dumping that goes on at the end of this movie. The where we see the all the people that Bill Paxton killed and what they did and all that. And I just think that I would have maybe enjoyed this, or this maybe would have put me over to the, hey man, this was a good movie side, if they had left that out and left it up to the audience to decide what, where on the morality side do you fall with these characters. It's because the movie pretty much kind of wraps itself up in a bow a little bit at the end.
It does.
I was like, I could have done without all of that, and just been like, oh, okay, well, man, that, I wonder if Bill Paxton was the good guy here, or Matthew McConaughey. I wonder if he's the good guy now, because the entire time Matthew McConaughey's narrating the film and talking to Powers Boothe in his scenes, I'm thinking, okay, he's taking Powers Boothe to the Rose Garden and he's gonna kill him. And that's why Powers Boothe, takes his gun out and it's just there's a lot of left turns and nope. You know, I mean, Bill Paxton getting killed by Fenton was probably the one I saw coming the most, but Adam killing the guy on the ground right after that was not. I don't know, man.
So what are the kind of
tell you
tips
what, this movie's made me think though.
Where before the reveal, one of the moments that made me think this could be real was when the sheriff was down there and Bill Paxton had to kill the sheriff to protect the secret. And after he kills him, he throws up.
Oh, yeah.
And he does it,
that's a good point.
all the other times, it's no big deal, right? He kills, wipes the thing off, hangs it up. But he kills the sheriff. He throws up. He's like, you made me kill someone. And Finn's like, Dad, you've been killing people. And it was that where I was like, maybe there's something to this, like, because at the very least, Bill Paxton fully believes it, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the more we talk about it, the more I'm on the, hey, man, this was actually a good movie side of it. And, like, did Bill Paxton direct any other movies?
I don't know. I can look at that. What I felt when I was done watching this is, I don't know, did you ever, like, when you were younger, go out and rent a movie, you know?
Yes, I did.
And you just kind of looked at the covers and you looked at the back and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to rent. This would have been like a good rental. Like, had I rented this and watched it, I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. I liked that. But I don't know that I'd ever remember having watched it, right? Like, I think years
I'd
down
never
the
seen
road,
this movie. Yeah.
it could be one of those movies we draft, and I'd be like, huh, this shit is familiar.
Well, right. And so, like, and that's a good point, is because this would have been one of those movies that you see on the shelf, read the back, and you're like, okay, oh, this is a $1.99 rental. Let's go. And then you get home and you watch it and you're like, oh shit, damn, that was pretty good.
$2. Or like if you're on Tubi and you're just thumbing through, or whatever your streaming service is, and you're just like, this is fine, and you put something on, you'd be like, hey, I don't regret that. That's kind of low praise, but I don't really think the movie puts itself in a position to be more than that anyway.
And now, in today's age, I think that's kind of what these streaming services are going for, is because of all the content that they're pushing out. I just think that they're trying to hit that low bar of, hey, this wasn't terrible.
You get yourself a couple Stranger Things,
right?
To get people to drive to the service, and then you just fill it with, hey, that's not bad.
And Netflix knows that. Netflix is paying money to keep subscribers entertained between seasons of their massive hits. And that's, honestly, that's fine with me. And not everybody on film Twitter and, social media feels this way. But Netflix owns the game. They know what the fuck they're doing. They don't do weekly releases is because they have too much fucking content. They can't. Other streaming services like HBO and Amazon and Apple, they do those weekly releases because they don't have the vast, massive library that Netflix does. And so Netflix knows that if they did weekly release and continue to pump out all the content that they have, shit's going to get buried and nobody's going to ever watch anything. So anyways, that's my rant. But anyway, Bill Paxton directed the 2005 golf film, The Greatest Game Ever Played, starring yo boy Shia LaBeouf.
Have you seen that?
I have. It's been a while, but I've seen it. Yeah,
I'm a Bagger Vance guy myself.
It's pretty good. I remember it being pretty good. I like I am a Shia LaBeouf fan.
I know you are. You love douchebags. We'll get to that more next week when we watch a Jared Leto film.
You're gonna love that film.
I probably will think it's amazing, and it'll probably be in my top 5. That's fine.
It probably will.
But until I watch it, it sucks.
I don't care. See, like I can separate somebody, the person, and then the actor. And Shia LaBeouf, the actor, is really good. Shia LaBeouf, the person, not as great. But I don't give a fuck. It's because I don't know the dude, so I don't care. I just care about what he's doing on screen, and what he's doing on screen is usually pretty good. So I'm like, okay, cool. But that's just me.
Okay. Well, would you drive over him if you saw him in the streets?
No, man.
Okay.
That's that dude.
All right.
Like I don't care about that dude, man. Like if he was in the street,
you wouldn't
had
run
a flat tire. No, I wouldn't run him over, and he had a flat tire. I'd probably stop and be like, "Hey, man, you good?"
You
and he'd be like,
him.
"Yeah, man." I would not clip him. But if you
what
need
if
some
you're
help,
not
I'd
in
help him out.
uniform though? Like you're off duty.
No, man, I'm not a killer of dudes.
Okay.
Listen, people
Even
can be
Shia
pieces
LaBeouf,
of shit.
really.
People can be pieces of shit, and I don't need to kill them.
I know. I'm fucking. You're actually taking me serious. It's
no,
crazy.
I don't need to be Bill Paxton here. They can be demons.
He's a demon. Oh. What if he was a demon?
Shia LaBeouf's a demon. Anyways, do you fucking recommend this film?
And McConaughey goes after douchebag actors.
We're gonna watch a McConaughey film next week where he just method acts the fuck out of it, and it's really, really great. But do you recommend Frailty?
No. I mean, no. If we're holding our recommendations to a high regard, no.
Okay, yeah.
This is going to be in the middle of the road at the end of the month, or end of the year, I should say.
End of the month too. McConaughey month's been pretty good to us.
I agree so far. I mean, I haven't had any just straight up duds. Like we haven't been like, fuck, man, I had to sit through this. Everything's been fine to great.
Yeah. No, I'm in the same boat. I'm not going to recommend it, but I'm glad I watched it because I'd never seen it, and if you had not picked it, I probably would never have watched this movie.
I know you wouldn't have.
But because it's just something that passed me by.
2016. We get it.
Yes. Matthew McConaughey was 32 when he made this movie, by the way. Which is crazy, is because he looks about 32 in this movie.
I think he looks a little younger. I think he could be in his 20s, but
yeah, okay, yeah, I get that. But I'm not going to recommend it either. It's fine, but you watch it on YouTube.
Yep.
Just regular YouTube, right?
It's free with ads, but if you're like me and you pay for YouTube, you don't even get the ads.
Oh, that's great. I watched it on YouTube as well, and I had the ads, but they were good ads. So, like, all of the ads were, like, 10-second long. So, like, all of the ads put together maybe added another minute to the film. And so I enjoyed that. You can't beat that. Tubi and YouTube with ads, that's fine.
Yeah,
let's go.
I agree. I've been watching Motel Hell on Tubi, where Gordon Ramsay goes to motels and then tries to fix them like he's some sort of motel expert. But one of the things that I find hilarious about the show is that he finds a way in damn near every episode to whip his ass out.
Really?
And it is not a McConaughey Van Damme level experience. It's some guy's ass. I don't know why he does it. Like he's like, I'm going to go take a shower. And the cameraman follows him in. And then you get to see him wash his ass. Check out Hotel Hell. It's a good show.
Do you ever think about Gordon Ramsay's dick?
I do. When his ass is out, I'm like, well, turn around. Fucking just get the whole
Let me see what you working with.
To keep it in the food.
Gordon.
Let's get the entree.
Some of that secret sauce. Ew,
I don't
gross.
know.
God. We went down a dark alley, and you didn't pull us out of it. You didn't pull us out of it. Anyway, what are we watching next week?
We are going to watch Dallas Buyers Club, starring Jared Leto, Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Garner, and I think some other people. Yeah, I don't think it's just a 3-person film.
It's not, but those are your prominent figures in it. And,
Steve Zahn. I love Steve Zahn.
Oh, yeah, he's in that. Oh, yeah. I can't wait, man. I can't wait to talk about this movie with you.
You don't have to wait long. We're watching it this week. I'll keep an open mind. And it's not like we've watched Jared Leto films that I liked and just said, no, I don't like this.
It's well documented here on the podcast how you feel about Jared Leto. But anyways, once again, I want to shout out the music this month. Here's to Now with their song Thieves. You can catch their music wherever you get yours. Hit the show notes, get all the links to their social media accounts. They're doing big things. Hit them with a follow, like, or subscribe. We appreciate them. Allow us to use their music here on the podcast. And speaking of the podcast, if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. We're at Movie Draft House. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You're watching us on YouTube right now.
Hi.
We appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content. And if you want to hit Jeff up on Twitter and be like, hey, bitch, there's a whole corner of the internet that features Gordon Ramsay's dick.
Is there?
Yeah, bro, man, we've been down this road, all right? There's a corner to the internet for everything. Oh. The internet is literally a never-ending valley of corners.
That I know, but it doesn't mean every corner exists.
No, 100% it does. Think of the wildest shit in your brain and just Google it.
No, I refuse. Not gonna happen.
The FBI van outside is listening right now, but you can hit up Jeff on Twitter at Podcast by Jeff and just throw out some suggestions for websites you think he should go to.
Sure. Yeah. And if you want to get in touch with Mark and get suggestions for websites that have weird shit you can't unsee, you can find him on Twitter at I Heard You Liked.
It's true.
Let me ask you a question. Have you watched Two Girls, One Cup?
Long time ago, and I'll never do it again.
Okay.
I learned my lesson with that one. You don't need to. You don't need to. You know what happens.
One, I know that, but that's just what I mean. That's the difference between us. Did you know what you were getting into?
At the time I watched it, I knew about what I was getting into. I didn't know exactly the depths
to gross you out.
It's a shock video, but I have a curious mind.
Oh, hence the search history.
If somebody tells me, oh, you don't want to watch this video, I'm like, what's the video of? And they tell me, oh, it's about two girls shitting in a cup and then they eat it, and it's like, I don't know, I've never seen any humans do that before, so let me watch a human do that.
With movies, hey, I haven't watched it before, I'll give it one go, and
it turns out to be terrible and you hate it.
Yeah. So would you recommend?
That's how it was. No, man, it's. It is very disgusting, and like I don't understand content creators these days.
Content creators, you're
because that's what
them
we
in
are
with us.
we are.
That's the most generic thing to. I create content. Okay.
Content
is literally just about anything.
Listen, now, but the internet is this like Pandora's box, essentially, and it's such a powerful tool that it can literally break your psyche with one video,
which is why I'm very careful.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, there's dissertations and books and research articles have all been written about how the internet has completely destroyed humanity. And it's the single greatest creation humans have ever done.
Fire's pretty good. Although that's more
not
of a
as good as the
discovery.
internet. Not as good as the internet, though.
That's fair.
I mean, just think about all the things that humans have come up with over centuries and decades and centuries, and however long, whatever the past decades is or centuries. And you think, and you're like, man, that was really good. They invented pictures. Oh, cool.
The written word.
The written word, bro. I can look up every fucking written word ever to existed with one keystroke.
Yeah,
Get the
but
fuck
you
outta
wouldn't
here.
have been able to without it. Anyway, this is a waste of our time and the listeners' time.
Anyways, you got any words of wisdom?
Nope. We'll see you next week. That's my new words of wisdom. I'm going out every week like that.